Good morning and welcome to After the Fire, Where Are They Now? I'm your host, David Hunt. It's a privilege to be standing here before you. Our first guest is going to be Michael Mengilla of P&M Locksmith. P&M Lock has been with the community for almost 40 years. This week is their anniversary. And after 40 years, we had a devastating fire on March 8th, 2016. This was a 3-alarm fire that affected several businesses, some a lot harder than others. We're here with Michael Mengilla, one of our founders and co-owner of P&M Lock. Michael, what can you tell me? How did P&M Locksmith start?
Well, it started simply out of a need for work. When I got out of the service in '73, nobody was hiring disabled veterans, let alone veterans. I needed to support my family, and one thing led to another, and this is where P&M started. And then a couple of years later, I talked to my brother Phil, who was going to be getting out of the service soon, and convinced him to, we're both mechanically inclined. So we turned nothing into something, and it supported a large number of people for the past 40 years. It's been good. Tough, but good.
Mike, I see you were at the first location for about 39 years before the tragedy. What did you like about the location? Was it like a home to you? You go in, you go out all day. What can you tell me about the old location? What do you really miss about it?
Oh, it was like going into your living room. You spent your day there. You were either on the road or you're in the store getting everything ready. And yeah, it was 39 years we were in that one location. It supported us well. It gave us street visibility. People knew where we were. But again, a lot of people just kept driving down Main Street. But yeah, it gave us the visibility we needed. It helped. This location we're in now, it's going to take a while for people to realize where we are because it's off the Main Street.
Well, Michael, you guys have come a long way after 40 years. This is a beautiful location. You've done a lot of work here. It's a family-oriented business. I always see the kids, every part of the family here. You should be proud of what you've turned this into. 40 years of service to the community, 40 years in one location, one business. That's unheard of. Michael, all I can do is shake your hand and say congratulations.
No, thank you, Dave. Thank you. Woburn is our community. We've done whatever we could afford to do. And we always will while we're still in business, because it's our city as well as everybody else's. Thank you.
And the city does really care, Michael. You've done a great job raising good family, raising a nice business. You've employed many people in the city of Woburn through tough times. I know people have come in, come out, gone to college, moved on to other things. You've been an employer of the city for like 40 years. People have been in and out of here, and nobody can ask you to do more than that. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm back again. This is with Phil Mengilla, one of the co-owners of P&M Locksmith. This is the face you probably see all the time. Phil is a very active member of our community, not just in business, but with the Kiwanis and other events that Phil has participated in. Phil, were you actually in the building the day of the fire, going back to the event of March 8th, 2016? Were you working that day?
Yes, we were all just coming back in during lunch hour. It was about 12:30. I was sitting at my desk, and I passed my son coming into the building. He was out back having a cigarette, and a few minutes later he comes running in and he says, "Everybody out, the building's on fire." He says, "Get the dogs." He rushed the dogs out, and my sister come out from out front, and she says, "Get out of the building." And I'm not thinking. I got up and ran out the building, and then I realized, uh-oh, I got a problem. I had to run back in. The building started filling up with smoke. I shut all the insulated filing cabinets to protect the records. And I quickly ran out of the building thinking, oh my God, there's like $700 on my desk. I ran back in, and as soon as I opened up the door, the smoke just pushed me back. I couldn't get through. And at that point I realized it's over. It's beyond my control. And standing out there in the parking lot, it just, it just hit you a different way.
For people that have never gone through something like this, what's it feel like? You've been with the community for 40 years. To see 40 years of hard work go up in flames. What's it feel like to watch sitting there helpless? What, honestly? I mean, you've been there, you're a community member, you're a strong force downtown, and to see not just your building, but friends, people you've known for years, your co-workers, and other people thinking they're going to be out of work. What goes through your mind when you're watching an entire block burning?
The first thing that went through my mind is I called my insurance company and asked them if I was covered for this. And I just felt a sense of loss, of helplessness. And I think everybody that was around me said, with disbelief, how could this be happening in broad daylight? This is something that's unreal. Nobody expects to ever have a fire devastate what they worked so hard to put together. And it wasn't until after the fire that we realized how bad things were.
I know everyone was looking forward to reopening. The big question was the building structurally sound? Everybody kept saying, hang in there, you're going to be reopening soon. It's just a building, they're going to be able to fix it. What was it like waiting? I mean, what did you do while you were waiting? I know it took several months for a decision. What did you do in the meantime?
We started doing what most people do. We made phone calls. We tried to get people to work on our behalf as far as looking at the fire loss. We contacted the insurance company to see if they're going to help us in any way. And even though they sat down and told us all these promises, when it came down to really showing us what they were going to do, it took forever. It was a long, drawn-out process, and it still isn't over. We're still going through the process a year from today. We're still fighting to close this out.
Wow, it never ends, does it? One thing after another. Just when you think you've got it made, something else comes up. What did the community do? Did anybody help you along the way? How was the community support?
The community was great. We have a lot of friends, but the city came out. The city supported us. In fact, they didn't just support us. They supported all the store owners. There was a big fundraiser down at the American Legion, and people came forward and donated their time. They donated the food. They had a pancake breakfast to help raise money for the different store owners to cover to make their loss a little less difficult. I was overwhelmed by the number of people that showed up that day. But we've had a lot of businesses and friends and family that came forward and donated money to the cause. There was a fund set up by you, David, at TD Bank, and everybody that had lost anything in the fire was benefited from that. So we had a lot of support from the community and friends, and that's why we're still here today.
Well, you are well loved. You've been here 40 years. I know you do have involvement with a lot of community service. Phil's a member of the Kiwanis. These are the guys that bring you Flag Day with the fireworks. And Phil's done so much throughout the years with other organizations. It's the community's way of saying thank you. Now, I understand something so strange happened. I've never heard about this in my life. You had a competitor lent you his business in his building while you had no place to go, while you were homeless. You've got to tell us about this. What happened?
Well, John Casey, who's the owner of Locks and Keys at the Woburn Mall, had a building off the Garden Terrace, and he says, listen, why don't you take my facility, set up an operation until you get your feet into a new building? And I says, well, that could take some time. He says, take all the time in the world. He says, conduct your business like you would if it was your own. And I says, if I'm here long enough, I says, it's going to say P&M Locks and Keys. I says, we're going to change the name of your business. And he started laughing. But he was very helpful in getting us back on our feet, because it took almost 6 months to find the place we're in today.
Phil, speaking of that, what is the hardest thing you're facing right now? I tried to find you myself. I didn't even know where Everett Street was. I've lived here all my life. Is that one of the factors? You look over to the right. I know people going by said P&M must be gone. They saw the fire. They saw the building torn down. What are you facing right now? How hard is it to let people know that you're here and up and running?
Basically, it's visibility. We're on a side road off of Main Street. It's a one-way street, and a lot of people aren't familiar with Everett Street. So people don't see us every day. When we were on Main Street, people would stop at the lights. They would look around, and there they would see our sign, and they would remember. But now we don't have that same visibility. And if you think about the visibility, it goes a long way. We have plenty of parking today, and everybody loves when they come here that we have all this parking. We didn't have that kind of parking before, but visibility is like free advertisement. So when people drive down Main Street, they see you, they remember you. If we had that same visibility, this would be a gold mine. Mm-hmm. But we're fighting for people to find us, and if it wasn't for Google, we probably wouldn't have customers coming here, because that's what they're doing. They're Googling us, They're finding us through their MapQuest, and our customers are coming back. But they're not coming back in grows like we had before. We don't have the same walk-in traffic. We used to have people stop in for Betty's. They'd have breakfast, they'd have their keys made, they'd come back for lunch, we'd have keys made. Even the dinner rush, you know, there was never a dinner rush, but we still had people. We don't have those people walking down Main Street coming in to seeing us the way we did before. So even though sales are up because of the road work, sales are down because we don't have the visibility.
Well, speaking of road work, I'm glad you just mentioned it. I see a fleet of vans that's been parked outside. What do you do with the vans? What do you guys do? What are the vans used for?
Well, long distance driving. We have a customer base that extends throughout New England. We go to Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Maine, sometimes Vermont, but we go as far west as Springfield. And we cover a large area, so these vans are constantly on the road. We do a lot of work in the surrounding areas with, you know, Winchester and Woburn and Burlington and Stoneham, somewhat in Lexington, you know, but we have the surrounding areas we've always had, but the majority of our business is out of town, and we travel a great distance to get there. We have a good reputation over 40 years. People are willing to spend the money to have us go there and do the work, even though it costs extra. They don't have a problem.
When you do good work, people want you. Speaking of the work, what type of work do you do? Let our audience know. What do you do when you go to a building with the vans? What do you do? Do you do a little lockout? Somebody gets locked out of their house, locked out of the car? Can you do whole buildings? What do you actually do?
We do a lot of specialty work. We pretty much cover everything from access control to installing new doors and frames, rekeying complete buildings, which we have one right now we're doing for the federal government. 4-story building that we're going to go in and change all the locks. But, you know, tomorrow I'm doing a construction job where I'm pulling out a steel door and frame and putting a new one in. We sometimes get a chance to do aluminum doors and frames, not that often. These are what we consider specialty items because not every locksmith would do stuff like that. So we used to do a lot of construction. And as times change, different companies that would use non-union went union, so we don't do the construction with them as like we used to. But we used to go into 3 or 4-story buildings and do all their doors and frames. That's where the money used to be. You know, now we're finding ourselves traveling a greater distance and doing it for specialty customers, national customers. And we have got such, like you said, over the last 40 years, we've got such a good reputation. People are asking for us to go out and do their work. And they found that it's cheaper to have us go to Maine than to have the local guy go to Maine. And that's what it comes down to. We take care of the customer, and the customer is taking care of us.
That sounds very impressive. I've got to get out of the camera shot. You guys, I walked in here the other day. I see all new safes. I see new products. Phil, can you tell me something about these products?
Well, a lot of them are just new because everything that we had in the fire was damaged. The safes down here on the bottom, the white ones are a brand new line of safes that we picked up. What we found out was the particular brand is a rated TL15 safe, and it's less expensive. It's imported, but it's less expensive than some of the American-made safes that only come with a B rating. And since the price was the right price and it was less money than what we were selling, it sounded like a good idea to bring something different in and show that to the customer. The American-made safes that we were carrying aren't as burglary rated or fire rated, and they were more money. So we tried to give the customer a better choice. We still offer them. I just haven't had the funds to put more on the floor. We're working on that. This particular safe you have your hand on is a wall safe. It's one of the strongest wall safes made. It's got a 3/4-inch door, 5 locking bolts. It's only burglary rated, but it does the job with most. So the people don't know what they're buying when they go to Home Depot or Lowe's. They're not buying the right safe. So when they go to pick out a safe, they should ask for more information. Some of these are like this one here is a drop safe. We use a lot of these in restaurants, and we're using the bigger model, which I don't have on the floor. The bigger model, even the churches are using that to put their money in. But the displays that we have here are all new because the ones we had before were gone, but these are the products that we carry Master, Abers, Don Joe. They're name brand products, products that you can stand by. You know, products that are going to outperform some of the other stuff that you buy at the box stores. You know, we also have, I don't know if you can see what we have over here on the shelves. We have a new line of state-of-the-art locks. What do they say? They want to use them in the clouds. They're hooked up. They're Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
So once you put them in, you can program them to your cell phones, and you can do things. I'm not that good at it because I'm still using a flip phone, but people say that this is what they want in their homes today. So we have new technology, and the technology is changing all the time. You know, we have a new set of displays from. We had a lot more displays before. The distributors say they already gave us the stuff years ago, and we should be happy we had them. They understand we lost everything, but they're starting to come around and give us new displays. Some of the other stuff that we have in here, like we have a gun safe over here. People, they go to the sporting goods stores so they can buy them cheaper, but they can't get the same service. We offer them service with the product. We offer them delivery. You know, they don't get that from the box store.
We all know no one reads the instructions that come in the box, and the guy on the floor can't help you. You need a trained locksmith to answer the questions.
And over here, basically, we have our new display counter that we decided we put a hole in the wall and made a display counter, made some place where the customer can come in and talk. All the work is being done behind here. We have a new keyboard set up. It's not as glorified as the one we had before, but it's getting there, you know. So.
Well, I'm actually glad this is going to air after the anniversary for the grand opening, because Phil has his 40th anniversary commemorative glasses, which he'll be giving out to the first 100 customers that come up and visit us on Friday, August 11th. So the next time we speak, the grand opening will have already happened. So I'm not spoiling any surprises. Phil, you've done so many accomplishments in the city of Woburn. How are you involved as a person? Let's forget P&M Block for 2 seconds. What's Phil the person? What do you do? I see you at Flag Day. I see you running around helping other people. What's the story of Phil?
Well, when my kids were younger, they were involved with Boy Scouts, and community service was instilled in my children, and always give back to your community. So as they were growing up, I wanted to be part of that, so I donated my time to the church and helped teach CCD for St. Barbara's. As the kids got older, I joined Woburn Kiwanis. They were nice enough to ask me to check it out, and after about 6 months, I says, I might as well do it. I've been here for six or seven meals. I says, it's about time I started in my keep. So for Kiwanis, which is, everything we do is for children. You know, we do a lot of fundraisers. We sell Christmas trees in the winter. We do the festival on the Common in the winter time, and we do the Flag Day celebration, which draws a lot of attention for the people. And all that donations we give back to different charities here in Woburn and surrounding communities and people in need. You know, so we work hard, but it hasn't just been that. I've always been doing something. I serve my country, I serve my community, and I think more people, if they did stuff like that, would have a better world to live in.
It's unbelievable, Phil. You've lived a wonderful life. This shop has been here for 40 years. All I can wish, I know Phil and myself, hopefully we will be, but I don't think the two of us will be here in 40 years from now. All I can hope is Phil leaves this down to his generation, his kids, his relatives, that'll continue to bring P&M Locks into the future. And as I said, the kids, the family, they're the hope for this business. Let's keep it running. Let people come down. They're at 23 Everett Street in Woburn. It is the first right on Main Street behind CVS. As soon as you pass CVS, take a right. It's a little side street. Come down, visit them for all your locksmithing needs. You get locked out of your house, your car. Maybe consider a new home system for locks nowadays. It looks like there's going to be the business into the future. Phil, all I can say is thank you and welcome to another 40 years.
Thank you, David.
Good morning, Dave Hunt back to you. We are at P&M Locksmith, the new home, 23 Everett Street in Woburn, located right around the corner from CVS. 40 years in the making, where Phil Mangilla and his brother Michael are about to reopen their new business, state of the art. This business has been going on in Woburn for 40 years, and we're about to celebrate. We're waiting the arrival of Mayor Scott Galvin, who'll be reading a proclamation welcoming them back to the city of Woburn now that they're in full swing and full operation. It's been a tough battle and a long road, but thanks to family, friends, co-workers, P&M Lock is one of the businesses that's reopened. As you know, last March 8th, 2016, a devastating 3-alarm fire tore through the block known as Strand Theater, taking out several businesses. Well, a few have reopened, many have not. About a month later, a pancake breakfast was put on, trying to raise money as an intermediate thing for the people that were trying to keep their livelihood going. During any fire, when the business burns down, these people are self-employed, and unfortunately, money stops when the business stops. About $10,000 was raised due to the generosity of the people of the city of Woburn. Stop and Shop of Woburn had sponsored and paid for all the food, so 100% of everything raised went directly to the merchants. Of course, a lot of people were involved in this, especially the media, Woburn Public Media Center, Woburn Daily Times Chronicle, The Advocate, and hundreds and countless people that volunteered their time, the Lions, the Kiwanis, to try to get these people back on their feet.
So, dear Mike and Philip, warmest congratulations to each of you and to P&M Locksmith Service as you mark your 40th anniversary right here in the city of Woburn. P&M Locksmith has served as a vital business anchor in Woburn Center since taking up residency at 463 Main Street in 1978, just a year after launching the business in your parents' basement. And now, in spite of a terrible fire that took the building in 2016, your commitment to the city of Woburn and your relocation to the 23 Everett Street is a great example to other small business owners in the area. We are grateful for your commitment to the city and your generosity over the years to local civic groups and community events, including the annual Mayor's Senior Dinner. So thank you very much, and good luck in your new location, and I know you guys are going to do great.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
To say that everything that's going on here today couldn't have been accomplished if it wasn't for my family, all my employees that have been with me through this difficult time, and all my loyal customers that have supported us in this endeavor to help bring us back and establish us once again as a fine asset to the city and the community and everybody that comes here. Thank you.
He said it all.
You said, well, okay.
Yeah.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good luck. We're happy to have you. You're a nice family. Some doing great on the police department.
Now I just have to get a new sign.
Yeah.
Welcome, I'm David Hunt, and we're here today with Mo, the owner of Lou's Barbershop. Mo, how long have you been in Woburn?
I've been here almost 10 years, working in Louis Barbershop.
Great, so I understand now you're Mo, you're no longer Louis, and we're in Christina's. How did that happen?
That's happened because the fire, what happened over there in the other buildings, they got a fire, but thank God that my place didn't burn up. But after almost 6 months, and the landlord decided to tear down the building, and they want to put another building, and they promised us to go back there after he built the building. But thank God for the Christina, for Anna, the owner of the Christina Salon. She gave us the opportunity to work a little bit here as a barber.
So basically, I understand your building almost wasn't touched. Your building wasn't touched during the fire itself. You were on the end. You thought you were going to reopen a couple of days later after a little bit of cleanup. You were reopened for business, weren't you?
Yeah, I did open for a business right away after I moved. I come here to Christina Hair Salon. She gave me the place.
That was great that someone would do that for you.
Thank you for all my customers. They come here, but I feel bad about the people who didn't hear where I am. Now I am here on 493 Main Street in Woburn.
So now again, that's 493 Main Street is where they can find you now. You're right beside the restaurant that's actually called the restaurant.
Yeah.
What was it like during the fire? Were you actually open during the fire?
Yeah, I did. I was opening. I was there, and at 1 o'clock, exactly what happened. At 1 o'clock, I was open. I was working. I had one customer in my chair, but all of a sudden, one customer he came in from outside. It was in Cousins. He came in. He said, "You should go out. Go out. The fire is coming. The buildings are burning."
Well, that must have been scary seeing the fire coming towards you. Did you think it was going to go out with the size of the fire? In respect to the size, did you think the fire department was going to be able to put the fire out?
Yeah, I was thinking it was small, but all of a sudden, it spread all over the place to Cousins. I closed for 2 days. I went back there and opened after that.
So you basically opened as business as usual right after the fire. You thought they were just going to rebuild the other portion of the building and you wouldn't be affected.
That's why he was. Everybody was thinking he's gonna cleaning after the fire. They're gonna clean and they open, but 5 months later, he said no. He decided to tear it down, the building.
Oh, no, definitely, for safety reasons. Obviously, the building had extensive damage and it wasn't salvageable. I understand they're going to put at one time a bunch of apartments with a couple of retail businesses, and you were thinking maybe you'll move into one of those businesses underneath, right?
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for, but things didn't happen. And the landlord said it was city, which is good for the parking. I understand that, but I'm still shocked what happened.
And I'm sure it's disappointing. You thought you were going to have a place right in the old building again, but obviously at least most of the people in the city can enjoy a parking lot versus one or two businesses. So what are your plans? Tell me, how long? You've been in Woburn for 10 years. Where do you live?
I live in Melrose, but I'm here for 10 years, almost 10 years in Woburn, which I love it. I love Woburn, and I love people here in Woburn.
So they're not like customers, they're basically like family. You've had people over and over again keep coming back to you.
Yeah, all of them. 90% they came back to my place.
And the other 10% probably can't find you. Mo, what are your plans for the future? Obviously, you can't stay here forever. Have you been looking around Woburn for a location? Is anything that you like?
I like to stay in Woburn. I don't like to move any other places. I like the center, but there is no place to move in. Too tight. But thank God, Anna, she gave me the place. I appreciate for that, what she did for me.
You know, a lot of people won't do that. They did the same with Phil when another lock company let him open up remotely in his location. What you notice in Woburn, a lot of people are doing some amazing things. In respect to Phil, P&M Lock, Locks and Keys, a competitor actually let him use his business when his building burned down. We have Christina's Hair Salon is kind enough to let Mo use her business while he's looking for a new location. Woburn has come to the aid and help of people always. I mean, it's an incredible city. People are always trying to help the other person. This is something you don't hear about in other cities. Other cities, if somebody burns down, the competition is doing cartwheels saying, yes, I'm going to grab all their business. But not in the city of Woburn. It's a wonderful place. Mo, is there anything like you to say to the public?
I like to thank everybody in Woburn, especially in Woburn and outside of Woburn. They come to my place, and I like them a lot. They give me a lot of business, and they understand the situation where I am now. But I hope things works for them very well.
Right. Mo, all I can say is you've been here 10 years. All I can wish you is another 10 years and many more after that. We're talking with Mo of Lewis Barbershop. Come visit him at
493 Main Street at Kristalina Hair Salon.
Awesome. Good afternoon and welcome to our second segment of After the Fire, Where Are They Now? As you know, I'm David Hunt. It's a privilege to be here with Another Merchant. We're trying to get a little bit of publicity for the merchants that lost everything in the fire. These people have been there for years. We had a devastating 3-alarm fire on March 8th, 2016. It's been about a year now. Still, some of the merchants have not reopened. Others have in new locations. And one of the biggest problems is nobody knows where they are. This is why today, between Woburn Public Media and all the work that the Woburn Times Chronicle has done in the past on trying to promote where they are, a lot of people don't know that these businesses are still with us and the services are still available. So we're here with Stephanie Miranda of Miranda Services. Stephanie, what's the address of our new location?
We are now located at 14 Montvale Avenue here in Woburn, Mass., right close to the center of town.
Okay, see, that's good because there's plenty of free parking up at the bowling alley, so you're in a good location now. Tell me, how long were you in business before the fire?
We opened our doors back at the 455 Main Street location back in June 2014. So we were pretty new to the block, but it was a close-knit family over there. Everyone kind of knew everyone else in the businesses.
Yeah, were you personally in the building the day of the fire?
Yeah, it happened right around lunchtime. We had me and the girls that were working with me at the time were in the office, and we didn't realize the fire was going on. Luckily, one of the local policemen that walked the beat over on Main Street, Mario, he just kind of ran into the building, and right when the smoke started coming, and just said, "Everyone get out, get out," and we were able to pretty much run out with whatever we had in our hands, and that was it. Luckily, the smoke went in very quickly because we were right next to the building that was burned down, the soccer place. So it went down smoke came in pretty quickly, but we were able to get out fine, thank God.
What's it like to be in a fire? Many people that are viewing this have never been in a fire anywhere close to it. A lot of us watch fires. What's it like to actually be in one? What goes through your mind when you have seconds to get out of a burning building?
What was really surprising to me was just how quick everything happened, how quick the smoke came in, and how quick it got so thick. We ran out of the building as soon as he said it, and then when we had looked up, we kind of share our roof with the soccer place, so we could see the flames. So my husband, who was working with me at the time, he said, "No, let's get in and at least get our bags and our things and get our IDs, all those kind of things." And we tried to get back in the building, and seconds after we left, we couldn't even walk in it anymore. How quickly the smoke became so thick, and how quickly the flames went up, and how long it lasted. It was a long time before they were really able to get that under control.
Well, thank God for the Woburn Police walking by, seeing that. God knows how many lives would have been saved if he wasn't there. I know it took a lot of communities to put this fire out. We had Burlington, Winchester, Stoneham, Medford brought a ladder truck in. When the building was burning and the flames were heading your direction, did you think your building was going to burn, or did you think they were going to have it out?
I thought for sure mine was going to go down, just because we kind of shared a roof, and it started the flames on the second floor. So when you looked at it from where my office was, I thought for sure that it was going to go right through our roof as well. But for some reason, the winds were blowing the other way, and the flames unfortunately ended up going the rest of the block. And our building, we had, my space, there's a firewall that divided my office space from the building that was on fire. So luckily it didn't go through the wall. We had a lot of water damage because they were on our roof, and all the water damage that went through the store. And unfortunately, all the electricity from our part of the store was under my office. So that all melted and kind of wasn't able to use. But the fire part, we were able to get out a lot of our files because we do insurance, and a lot of it, unfortunately, is still paper. So having all the paper still being able to be there and get out the majority of the things that we needed, and it was got on our side that day. That was good.
I noticed the Woburn Fire Department did a tremendous job. I can't believe with all that wind and the size of the fire, they were able to contain it. So, I mean, it just hats off to the Woburn firefighters that did everything. Nobody got hurt. No spectators got hurt. The buildings were evacuated. Merchandise did get out, so records were saved. It's just a tribute to the training that the fire department has taken. Next question. What is the big question everyone wants to know? I hear Miranda Services. What does Miranda Services actually do?
Well, Miranda Services, we first started off as a translation kind of an office space. We cater a lot to the Spanish, Portuguese community when it would come to helping them fill out documentation, needing translations, things like that. In the beginning, we were a notary public while me and my husband were actually in school getting our insurance license. So once we were able to get our insurance license, which was back in 2014, we opened up an insurance agency. We still cater to that community a lot, just because it is easier to have insurance with someone that understands your language and can really communicate the kind of coverages that you have. So we do cater a lot to the Spanish, the Portuguese community, as well as the American community here in town. We pretty much have the insurance for a lot of the local restaurants and areas right down our street here, which is really great. And the town is, even though Woburn is a pretty big town, it has a lot of small town feel to it. People are super nice once they realize I had some issues trying to get my sign up on the building, and once they found out that it was us that was from the same fire down line, they helped me out so much, and they were able to really speed up the process to get things open for us and for us to be able to start working right away. The mayor was really amazing, reaching out to us and offering if there was anything they could do, if there was any calls that they could make to try to get us to be able to open up as soon as possible after the fire. We kind of moved into my garage for the first few months after the fire because we didn't have anywhere to go. So we kind of put up a sign in our old office, and everyone would head over to my garage, which is our makeshift agency, for a few months until we found this space, which was kind of great because it's still close to the center of town. It's still in the center of the community. It's not as big as what our other office space was, but it works out great for what we need.
I know all I can say is thank God that we had the mayor. Scott Galvin did an awful lot for the members of the fire. Marie Lingblom out of the mayor's office fielded a lot of calls, did a lot. The Woburn Redevelopment Authority, I understand, gave a small check to everybody that was in the fire to try to help them the morning of the breakfast, to try to help them get reestablished, get some of their equipment that got damaged, relocate them. And the city really wanted these merchants to reopen up and did above and beyond to try to help the merchants. Well, find a new home. I mean, I shouldn't even be saying this, but I mean, find a new home. During the fire, everybody was saying, reopen up, reopen up, reopen up. So when I say I'm surprised, didn't you feel that you're going to be able to reopen? What was the big issue?
I thought we would. Our space was mostly water damage. So me and my husband at the time, we were even, thought we can fix this ourselves. We'll hire some companies and we can get the roof fixed. But we didn't realize that there was a lot of underlying issues to the integrity of the structure and the integrity of the walls due to the fire. So it would have been great to be able to move back in there. We were in a prime location because we were right on the corner. So we had access to the main street. It was great for parking right in front of the bus stop. So it was really good, and it was close to the community. But I felt really bad for some of the other businesses that really weren't able to open up. I miss Cousins breakfast like no tomorrow. They were the best lunches, and I reached out recently to P&M to be able to install our new safe and everything. So I didn't realize, like you had said, that they were even still here. So it's great, these kind of things that you can let people know they're still around, they're still in town. So it's really good.
I understand the whole community came together one morning to help out all the merchants. What can you tell us about that?
It was really great. Like I had said, the Woburn, even though it's a pretty big town, it's really has that small time vibe. And they had the whole breakfast for us, and so many people came out. Not just the people that were involved. You had other people, the police, the firemen that were there, came out and really, united to really try to get everyone to open up again and really try to show everyone that they were together with them and they really cared about all these communities, about the businesses that were affected. It was really amazing to see how everyone was united to help. It was great.
And that was unbelievable for the people that don't know about the breakfast. The breakfast was put on as a fundraiser about a month after the fire. The breakfast selling pancakes raised about $10,000, which was divided among the merchants. It was a help. The biggest thing was the bills go on. Just because the fire is out, these people are self-employed. They have their house, their mortgage, their rent, their car insurance, their daily expenses. They're not operating. And that little check that came in did help them a little bit as bridge the gap so they could survive until they could open up a new business, which doesn't happen overnight. Several businesses still haven't reopened. Others took many months to reopen. As you heard earlier, the story with P&M, he thought he was going to be back in. Stephanie thought they were going to be reopened up. They just had water damage. Nobody knew that the building was going to be torn down. Right now, the building, as you can see, is nothing but a big empty hole. The building was razed for safety reasons. It could not be rebuilt. It's a big empty hole right now where the foundation was. As you can see, there's nothing here but fencing. And this is soon to be a parking lot. The mayor was able to purchase the land. It was originally going to be opened up as an apartment upstairs with some downtown businesses, but that would just have benefited a few people that were lucky enough to be able to live there. And now what they did is the mayor's office, they purchased the land. So now we have a parking lot which will alleviate the downtown parking issue. We'll give about 50, 60 extra parking spaces. It's only going to benefit the merchants that are still downtown, alleviate the parking, and welcome more people to the city of Woburn. So it's a win-win for everybody. Not that the people that lost their businesses won, but at least they know that it wasn't in vain, that it did benefit the community, that that land can be used for something everybody in the community can utilize. Stephanie, if you have any parting words for us, what would you like to tell us about Miranda and the community?
It's pretty much to let everyone know that we're still here. We are kind of hidden away here on Montvale, but we still provide the same service to the neighborhood. Anything that you need, and personal insurance, commercial insurance. If you're looking to open up a new business and you want someone that can help you out with that, being able to help you with the insurances that you need and what would be beneficial for you, come by and visit us. We would be more than happy to help you.
And in closing, all I can say is, Stephanie, it's been a pleasure meeting you. I did not know Miranda before the fire. I actually didn't know any of the merchants other than Phil before the fire. I got to know everybody real well working with them. All I can say is I know you haven't been as long as some of the other businesses, but like Phil, hopefully you'll make it 40 years. You'll have a wonderful business. You do a great service for the community. I'm very impressed with all the work you do. You've got a great staff, a new location. Come on down and visit Miranda Services and see if they can be part of your community and see what they can do for you.